Survivor's ready. Go!
Travis spoken.
This island is pretty much full of only two things: snakes and rats.
The fake dead grandmother could easily go down as the dirtiest thing ever to be done in this game.
I am the king, and I am back.
But I've got the $1 million check written already. I mean, I'm the winner.
The winner of the first Survivor competition is Rich.
Direct from Hobart, it's now time for the only dedicated radio show in Australia devoted to the hit TV show Survivor, bringing you the latest news and the biggest interviews from the king of reality television. It's Survivor Oz, and here's your host, Ben Waterworth.
Yes, hello everybody and welcome once again to Survivor Oz, Australia's #1 TV and film podcast, coming to you once again for another Survivor Juan Del Sur exit interview. We are getting to the meaty end of the season and we're starting to get the big contestants on, and we're about to hear from one man who I didn't want to hear from until the end of this season. I do speak, of course, of Jeremy Collins. I'm still reeling from his elimination, but looking forward to at least chatting to him today and bringing him to you. Now, before I bring Jeremy to you today, just always like to take this opportunity to mention that if you are listening to us today via iTunes or Stitcher, first of all, thank you very much for doing so. Perhaps you've subscribed, and that is the easiest way, of course, to get these episodes. But I would like you to take this opportunity to visit survivoroz.com, click on the Jeremy Collins exit interview, and you will see the full episode preview that Noah Groves has put together ahead of episode 10 happening tomorrow. Now, as always, they do not contain spoilers, although this week I will say Noah has gratefully put in bold letters the following may contain spoilers, because in the preview, the video preview, there is apparently a shot of who wins immunity. So just warning you, if you do not want to see that, then don't watch the clip and don't read that part of the preview. But Noah has gratefully put that away, so you can skip over it if you want to. But Noah does a great job of those. Check it out and be informed as well. We appreciate Noah's work. But you're tuning into this to hear from the most recently eliminated contestant from San Juan Del Sur. Today we released the top 10 viewer blindsides, the biggest viewer blindsides in the history of Survivor. Those blindsides that us, the viewer, did not see coming. And sitting at number 1 is this man. You may call it recency bias, but I completely agree. I do not think there was one blindside as big for the viewer as we saw last week. I do, of course, speak of the one, the only Jeremy Collins. Jeremy, welcome to Survivor Oz.
Hey, Ben, how's it going?
Doing very well, mate, doing very well. I just feel like I need to quickly mention to you before we get started into this interview that, look, personally, I was rooting for you, my friend, and I have this curse that I seem to have on people I root for, that they never win. So you can blame me for you not winning this season, Jeremy. It's my curse.
Well, you're the second person that said that, so I'm putting the blame on two different people now.
Yes. So just be sure if you ever return, don't have us root for you, okay? Make sure we do not go for you.
That's the plan.
Yes, obviously a very shocking blindside for yourself, for the viewer. It's been nearly a week now since it aired. Does it get easier watching how it all plays out, or is it still pretty hard to swallow everything that happened?
No, it's pretty tough. It obviously time's gonna heal, but yeah, I'm still mad about it, you know.
I suppose it's these things that you always have this part of you. But I mean, take us through that blindside. Was it legitimately a blindside? Because I think sometimes when we see these blindsides, sometimes the player has a bit of a feeling that we don't get to see. But this legitimately seemed like you had no clue going into the tribal council.
No, it was a legitimate blindside. I said afterwards, if I had an idol, immunity idol, I would not have played it, because I felt so confident in the numbers that at 6-4, even if John did try to come after me at 6-4, he's not going to try it so soon. it's way too soon to do it. So I was completely blindsided on it.
And we saw, obviously, your reaction at Ponderosa, seeing that, thinking that it was Natalie who turned there. I mean, what was it like watching it and realising it wasn't Natalie, it was Missy who turned on you?
Well, I knew right from the jump that it had to be my alliance that did it. I didn't think that the other alliance could get the numbers, and I didn't think my alliance would talk to anybody from the other alliance and pull them in. And so I didn't think it was going to be Reed that did it, that was the one that wrote my name down with my alliance. Now, Natalie's the only one I trusted out there. So when I looked at Natalie and I actually thought she did it, that bothered me the most because, you don't trust anybody in the game, but I messed up and I did trust Natalie. We had a real common bond and a common goal, and it messed me up, it jacked me up. It's still too soon. The whole thing is wrong the way they went at it. It's just bad gameplay. Just dumb moves to me.
Who do you feel will benefit the most from it? I mean, looking at Missy kind of flipping, do you think this is going to help her moving forward, or do you feel this kind of will show that she's not a loyal player and it might actually hurt her chances to win the game?
I mean, it shows that she's not a loyal player, and her biggest, in my opinion, her biggest ally out there was Natalie. So Natalie, you alienate Natalie, and now the numbers are 5-4. Who says Natalie doesn't jump ship now because she can't trust you guys for not including her in on this plan?
Do you feel that there is one person out there that has benefited from this the most? I mean, looking kind of at the bottom of the so-called alliance, someone like Alec and Wes, do you think this kind of gives them more of a chance to sneak through if there's all these people fighting with each other now that we've had this betrayal?
I mean, Alec and Wes, I feel Alec, Wes, and Keith, they're just there. They're not doing anything they're not doing any strategy. So when you're not doing anything strategy, then people are going to go after the more strategic players. So it does give them another day. But, I mean, if they keep playing the way they're playing, I mean, who says they could just go all the way to the end because no one's bothering the people that don't have any strategy. And like I said, Natalie can jump ship now because you alienated them.
Yeah, it seems that way. Now, with John and Jacqueline siding with you last week, of course, that was crucial in getting the numbers and everything that happened prior to you getting voted out. What would have been the plan moving forward had last week's vote gone to plan? I mean, were John and Jacqueline people you were planning to take to the end, or were these two disposable people you would have cut before you got that far?
Well, my plan was to take John because I needed a shield, a person that's bigger than me, that's more of a physical target in this game. So if anything goes wrong and the other alliance wins somehow or gets a hidden immunity and wins a immunity challenge, and they blindside us, and that they go after John because John's a bigger physical threat. So and since John lied to me about going to and sending me to exile to look for an idol that wasn't there, my plan was to go after Jacqueline.
It would have been.
I wanted to take her out next.
It would have been fascinating to kind of see how that all played out, because it's kind of interesting seeing the two of them work together in this situation that has just happened. Because I mean, they were a week beforehand when they've sided with you over Josh, kind of crucial in that move. They've been crucial in this move. So I mean, it just kind of seems like, as you were mentioning before about going after the strategic players, they're just painting themselves as a massive target with each week that follows.
I mean, I don't know if it's a mental target. They would swing vote. We needed them for the numbers. They chose to join us. And, I mean, the swing vote isn't a great place to be, but in this season, it just worked out that the swing vote seemed more powerful. You know, if you look back, the swing vote was going to be Missy and Baylor, because Baylor had the connection with Josh. But Missy shut that down right away and said, we're not doing that. We're going with Jeremy. So to me, it's mind-boggling that John even thought about going with Josh's alliance, because you had no connection with that alliance. That alliance was Cleopa. We Hunapu, and you were with us from the beginning. And Jacqueline had no connection with Cleopa because she was on the outs because it was an all men's alliance. So like it was mind boggling to me that he even considered going with that alliance, you know?
Yeah. Do you feel with the whole situation, when we saw the whole Josh v. Jeremy thing sort of play out on our screens? I mean, I asked this to Josh last week, but do you feel that had things been different, that maybe working with Josh would have been an advantage, or is he just somebody that you couldn't have seen yourself working with in the game?
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten that question a bunch. Josh is, I just don't trust Josh. You know what I mean? Like, and he doesn't trust me. You know, I think we have a mutual respect for each other, but we can't cross enemy lines and team up together. You know, it's weird. And I think if we did, we would really dominate and make some noise, but I just can't see it happening. We just don't trust each other enough.
Yeah, it's fascinating actually even seeing it at Ponderosa kind of when you guys, you know, were getting along, and then sort of in your Ponderosa confessional when you're even there saying like, look, he's still kind of saying this and that. I don't believe him.
I feel like, I said, now we're at Ponderosa, and I feel like, Josh, listen, I know Reed's in the game, but you're not going to help him to sway my vote towards this direction. If he deserves my vote, if he makes it to the final three and he deserves my vote, I'll give him my vote. Mm-hmm. You're not gonna sway my vote by you telling me what you think is going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Who are you rooting for to win at this point?
I mean, everybody knows that. I only want Nat to win. That's the only person that's the only one that didn't go after me for the last part of the second half of the game. Mm-hmm. She's the only one that had my back.
Yep. I've got a listener.
Out of both tribes.
Yeah, absolutely. Got a listener question which I'll get to in just a second to close it out. But one thing that I did was intrigued about in your Ponderosa video, you mentioned that you took notes on every single episode of Survivor that you would watch. Now, Jeremy, what sort of things do you write down, and do these things like help you or hurt you when you went out there to actually play the game?
You know what? That's a good question. I wrote down any strategic point that I saw there. You know what I did? I wrote down, do not ever give away a reward. That never works out. Do not ever give away a reward. But when you get out there, you know, like, you can't really, it's not cut and dry. Survivor is, you have to feel it. And when I got out there, I felt it. And with Jacqueline, if Jacqueline was out there by herself, a regular season of Survivor without John, and I do that works. She's with me till the end. Mm-hmm. So you really have to use it. You know, you got to go with your feeling, go with your gut. And my gut was right about Jacqueline, but I thought she would be able to sway Dawn, and that didn't work.
It'd be fascinating one day, Jeremy, to see those notes. I reckon a lot of fans out there would love to see kind of the Jeremy Collins notes.
Oh, they're messy. You got to see it. They are messy.
Well, actually, just quickly, too, before I get to the listener question, I mean, obviously such a fan of the show. And Val, it seems, is a fan of the show, too. Do you take a little bit of pride being able to say, hey, Val, I beat you at Survivor?
Oh, no way. I mean, Val had she got a bad rap. You know what I mean? Like, if she was on my tribe and I was on her tribe, they wouldn't look at her as a threat. They would look at her as a strong female, you know, like a Nat. You know what I mean? I think her tribe was just going after the stronger women. You know, you take out Nadia, you take out Val. Those girls are those girls are the ones that could flip the game. You know, no one's listening to a Baylor. You know what I mean? No one's listening to Jacqueline to flip the game on its head. So they were doing what they had to do to keep their male alliance. But I mean, if Val stayed in it and I was playing with Val would have beat me in the game. So I mean, I don't get any pride in seeing my wife lose, you know.
Well, pre-game, I know I had Val winning and you coming second, and I know a lot of people actually were predicting that too. Before we let you go, Jeremy, just quickly, a listener question here from Denise Birkenbein. Denise asks, what do you think of Missy now?
That's a good question, Denise. I always liked Missy. I still like Missy. I just think she just makes bad decisions with men. I mean, everyone knows she was married a few times, and she chose John over me. And there was no reason to do it. You know, it was just a spur of the moment thing. I would like to know why she did it. You know, but you know, I can't be mad. This is a game. I'm not gonna stay mad forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, we'll see how it all plays out. Jeremy, it's been a massive pleasure, mate, chatting to you. Even though it is way too early, I wanted to speak to you in about a month and a half time when you were declared a millionaire. But next time. Thank you very much, and looking forward to getting you back here on the show post-season. We'll have a bit more of a chat, more in depth about your time on Survivor.
Hey, that'd be good, man. Have a good one now.
There we go, Jeremy. Jeremy Collins. Sorry, I'm still a bit sad. The fact that, as I said, wanted to be speaking to him in about a month and a half time to declare him as a winner. But the curse of Ben strikes again. That rhymes, actually. I could use that as some sort of business card model. I don't know. As always, special thanks, I will say, to CBS and Channel 9 for helping organise these exit interviews. Now, it is that time of the recap where we do some housekeeping to wrap this up with a nice little bow on top of it. As always, our San Juan Del Sur coverage continues directly after the Australian airing on Go, 9:30pm, of course, on Go. We will go live 10:30pm Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time with our Oztopsy. We will wrap up the 10th episode. We will talk about it live. And as always, we would like for you to call in and join in. 039005 6429 is our number. You can call in live, or you can leave us a voicemail message in between now and when the episode goes to air. This week's Survivor episode recap, with former survivors, I should say, comes in the form of Fiji contestant Rita Verios and Cook Island's favourite and our very bestie, good friend, or as he likes to call himself, the herpes of Survivor Oz, Billy Garcia. They'll be joining us to discuss this week's episode. Power Rankings with Troy Zan, that will be out early next week. And as always, we have all our other Survivor-based material, a feature on Monday. As I said at the top of this episode, a top 10 out today. Top 10 viewer blindsides. Jeremy, I will say, is number one. I just spoiled it for you, but you can see the other ones that have made the list there. Side note, plugging our other shows, Noah, who does our fantastic written recaps, as you've already heard me say, he is back hosting The Amazing Race Oz as we continue to talk about the 25th season of The Amazing Race, silver anniversary season. Can I just point that out? He will be back this week to talk about that episode. And the other spin-off show, Big Brother Oz. Time to plug my own show. My own spin-off part of the show. Myself, Kristen, Alex will be joining us tomorrow. We've got 2 more episodes before we close out Big Brother Australia 2014. The winner is being announced tonight of season 11 in about 20 or so minutes time. I'm sitting down to record with Kristen and 2012 winner Ben Norris to discuss last night's triple eviction, and then we'll be back tomorrow to wrap up the entire season, so you can find that via survivoroz.com. Of course, if you do subscribe to us on iTunes and Stitcher, that is the easiest way for you to get episodes direct to your portable device or your computer. If you do not use either of those services, find the RSS feed for our podcast on survivoroz.com and use your relevant subscribing service, and you can subscribe to us there. Please, if you do subscribe to us on iTunes and Stitcher, we would appreciate you taking a few minutes out of your time to rate us, as well as leave some feedback. We always like hearing the comments. I will say last week's Josh exit interview went to number 2 on iTunes. We appreciate the support. That comes after the week before Julie went to number 1. So we love the fact that you guys are enjoying these exit interviews. It's a big pleasure that we're doing these, and it's great that they've been so successful. That wraps up our Jeremy Collins exit interview here on Survivor Oz. We'll be back next week to speak to this week's eliminated contestant from Survivor, San Juan Del Sur. You can see Survivor, of course, 8pm Eastern Time in the US, 7pm Central. That is on CBS on Wednesday nights. And if you're listening to us in Australia, 9:30pm on Go. Catch it then. My name is Ben, the Tribe has spoken. Thank you for joining us here on Survivor Oz. We will speak to you next time on The Trains.